so proud to be a free Palestinian in the United States of America, where I can express my free speech, what I believe, which is human rights for everyone. And I'm so incredibly proud to be a United States Congresswoman. Many of you probably have no idea, but both my parents were born in Palestine. My dad, 4th grade education. My mother, only 8th grade education. When I was born in Detroit and I started school, I didn't speak any English. And look at me now, because I worked hard. But do you know why I got involved in politics? Because my father worked at the Ford Motor Company and he got involved in the United Auto Workers, the UAW. When I turned 18, he wasn't like, happy birthday, Baba. He was like, go register to vote. And I remember him saying, I said, okay, Baba, I'm gonna do it. He goes, no, you gotta register to vote. And mashallah, I am the eldest of 14 children. Yes. So we are now a massive voting bloc in my family. But I am here because I'm hoping, inshallah, that I can inspire all of you to be engaged. It's not only that you need to register to vote and vote. And let me tell you, we know who votes and who doesn't vote. We look it up. We don't know who you vote for, but we know if you're actually caring about what happens to your neighborhood, your community right here, in the community you live in, the community you decided to be educated in, to raise your families in. And one of the things that I'm always taken aback, and it pains me, is when people in our community, and you hear this all the time, my vote doesn't count, I don't care, oh, it doesn't matter. Yes, it does matter. Because I'll tell you, it replaces all of the negative imagery when you can make them listen to you through your votes. Really, you expose who we are as Americans when you vote, when you show you actually care about education, about issues that matter to you, about civil rights, about all of the issues, about every single thing that might touch your life right now. It only matters if you can actually get out and vote and express it that way. You know, I remember as an activist in Detroit, I can tell you, when I was working on all these kinds of social justice issues, poverty issues, so many people would say to me, what are you? Are you like Pakistani? What are you? I was like, well, I'm Palestinian. And they were like, oh, okay. And then when I decided to run for office, everything, they just remembered me as the girl that was out there registering people to vote, doing know your rights in basements of churches, really get involved in my community. It really changes people's views and imagery of who we are when we intersect with other communities and do the work side by side. What I always worry about us, especially my younger generation, is we isolate each other and we only focus on each other here in this room, in this festival, just looking in this room. We have to be broader than that. We have to be caring about things that matter to so many other people across the country. And so I remember fighting environmental justice issues in my district. And this billionaire, this is a true story, folks, a billionaire decides to fence off a park, a public park. It didn't belong to him, and he fences it off, and he says it's mine. The city of Detroit sues him, and they say he trespassed, he has to remove the fence. He had 90 days to remove the fence. Do you know he didn't want to remove the fence? Yeah, because he's a billionaire. It's called corporate greed, folks. So I'm going to tell you, he decides he's above the law, he's not going to do it. So allegedly, we did go, and we took down the fence ourselves as a community. Yes, we did, and I was a sitting state representative at the time. Yes, you take it down. Do you know the best feeling I ever had was one of my residents, I love you guys, one of my residents goes to the media, the media comes up to her and they were like, well, why'd you guys take the fence down? They're like, well, it's our park. It's our public park, and no billionaire, no matter what he has in his bank account, shouldn't come over here and take public land away from us. And then she goes, this is true, she goes, plus, our state representative is Palestinian and you can't legally occupy land in her district. So, that's how you show intersectionality. When you show and stay so rooted in who you are, as Arab, as Muslim, as anything advocacy, how you root that with other communities. That's how you raise the bar. That's how you raise the bar. What we expect even in our elected people is when we show up and we vote. I'm tired. I'm tired of them treating us like we're ATMs, right? Come here, donate to my kid. No. Tired of us saying, please give us a seat at the table. How about we run for office and get our own seats? That's what I want to hear people talk about. So inshallah, my dream is that you all are inspired, because let me tell you, so many of you have no idea. It's a majority non-Arab community that elected me. I grew up in the most beautiful, blackest city in the country, in the city of Detroit. And this community over and over again believed in me no matter my faith, my ethnicity, because they wanted somebody that wasn't going to sell out, somebody that wasn't ever going to back down. And so I want you to be inspired by that, because, ya Jama'ah, this is our darkest time in our country right now. It is. And the only way we're going to bring light back is if we show up. Literally droves of us. And I want my younger people, you know who you are. Even if you can't vote, you make your parents vote. Shame them. Say, Baba, Mama, do you not care about my future? Because this is where I'm going to live and raise my kids. They cannot be only thinking about what's happening over there. That is important. But you are living here. This is the time that lines should be out to polling locations with our community, demanding that we get a seat at the table, right? Demanding that we're heard. So I'm asking all of you, please, please, make sure you show up. Be educated, be engaged. It's so critically important, because on the day that I was elected, I went to the United States House for the first time to get sworn in my Palestinian thob. When all of you tweeted out, tweeted your thob out, it was beautiful. It was the first time that I felt like, alhamdulillah, finally my mother can feel like she's actually being heard and seen, right? That I didn't have to give up who I was when I took office. And neither of you can have to ever give up who you are when you go cast those votes. You don't have to give up who you are when you run for office and are engaged at the table. You bring that to the table, because that's how we're going to be our authentically self, unapologetically ourselves, and that's how we're going to be able to expose who we are and be very, very much engaged. And inshallah, that's how we're going to bring light back into our country that is about true love, respect, and human dignity for everyone. And so thank you all so incredibly much. Thank you so much. I want to tell you, for all of you, my Siti, who lives in the occupied territories in the West Bank, she calls me her free bird. You are our free bird, ya Jama'ah. You are Asafir, that as long as you fly towards the light,